Hey guys, in this tutorial we're going to create these 4 iOS screens from scratch. Now this is part of a tutorial in which we're creating an entire iOS UI kit from scratch. So it's a series of videos, and if you're interested in seeing more, you can watch all of them on my YouTube channel. But without further ado, let's jump into the video. So as I'm first starting out, the very first thing that you can notice is that I already have 2 screens, and these were from a previous YouTube video which I shot, and these were the very first 2 screens of this iOS UI kit which we're building. Now I just duplicated in order to keep the same structure, and the reason being is that it's going to be the third page, this one that I'm building, of a onboarding experience. So essentially I just want to keep the same structure overall for the second lower half of the screen, and I'm just going to maintain the same visual style. However, I'm changing of course the content, and I used an illustration from Flat Icon, which I have a subscription with, and I'm tweaking it but still keeping the same shape. So essentially what I did over here is in order to avoid creating the shape of the person from scratch, I kind of used a ready-made asset, but I'm adjusting the style, especially when it comes to the coloring and the visuals, to the current iOS kit which we're building. So everything is custom, and everything is essentially created in a way that it's unique for the project, and this is something which you always want to keep in mind, especially when working with assets. A lot of designers, especially at the beginning, maybe they just rely on dragging and dropping the asset, but one of the best ways and one of the things that can really help you the most is to understand how to create something from scratch. So for example, illustrations, icons, and things of that nature, and then being able to extract that asset and essentially creating a unique version and tweaking it based on your specific needs. So this is definitely something which is a skill which you learn over time, and just something to consider overall. So as you can see over here, I went with a orange color, which is going to be the tertiary color of the palette for this iOS app screen. And as you can see, I'm just tweaking things around. I went with this feeling of having a gradient color for the most part, so some soft gradients, nothing which is too flashy, because especially when working with gradients, you can very fast come with some solutions which aren't looking that professional. So you really have to be delicate and considerate in your approach of using gradients, but that just comes over time. And again guys, it really depends on the style which you're aiming for. Now adding some text, I'm kind of looking around if the three screens are consistent within one another, if the sizing of the illustrations work well. So this is always something which you have to consider when working on projects which involve multiple screens, which are the vast majority of them. You always want to keep the consistency going between screens, and this is one of the key areas, and one of the reasons why I like to work with artboards side by side, in order to really keep that bird's eye level overview. Now at this point I'm creating the fourth screen, which is going to be the main menu, and over here we're going to have a few options. And as you can see, I'm leveraging some ready-made assets from the official Apple's iOS kit. So essentially I want to grab a few of these screens just to see the style of the basic iOS of the iOS style guides, and some of the other screens, so that I can always keep in mind this, visually speaking, and I always want to create iOS experiences which are in line with the default iOS UX patterns, and this is something which is going to help the users feel more comfortable, and also make the entire experience more intuitive for them, because this is definitely going to be something which is something which they're familiar with. So we always want to create experiences which are easy to understand for the user, experiences which are intuitive, and experiences which are just smooth UX. The goal at this point, or really with any UI UX project, is not to make the user think. So whenever we can leverage some ready-made UX patterns that are clear in the user's mind, I would always go for it, because there's not a need to reinvent the wheel, although you need to create projects which are customized and tailor-made for your specific audience. But overall, the goal is to create something which is unique, but still really that they're familiar with. So at this point, I'm just experimenting with colors, using the gradients. I'm using the some of the color palette which I already created in the onboarding experience, that we're leveraging those and creating consistency within the project. And as you can see, in just a moment, I'm going to add some text and some illustrations which I'm going to customize again. So, when it comes to the assets for this project, one of the main things is to download that iOS kit from Apple, so that you can be compliant with Apple's guidelines, and also you can leverage some of the assets in order to create some great and compliant iOS experiences fast. And when it comes to the icons, I'm using flat icons as well as Google Material icons, and I'm accessing those via the Nucleo app, which is an app. It's premium. I'm not sure if you can download the just the software to browse icons for free. I think you can, but essentially it's a really great software for the icons. I use them all the times with clients, and highly suggest to check it out. I think the website, if you just go on Google and search for Nucleo icons, you're going to find them. They really are amazing. They have some amazing packs. But that being said, I also really enjoy using flat icons. Flat icons is great because you can really find some of the more illustration and advanced kind of icons with more layers and that real illustration kind of feeling. So it's really good for that. And apart from that, I'm using Figma, which is my primary design tool, and something that I've been using for the past months. Recently switched from Sketch after using Sketch for years. And apart from that, I think that for the most part, it's just creating assets on the go and really adapting and finding that base style to really bring the project together. Now, this is part of a series of UI kits. I created many UI kits myself, and if you click in the link in the description, you're going to find them. But yeah, I'm just going to leave you at that, and I'm just going to stop the commenting at this point, and I'll just leave you with the actual video footage.